Hello, I'm Nalini, and welcome to March 2024, the transition from Pisces season to Aries season in astrological terms, and the shifting energetically from a turbulent transition time, which isn't over, into the fractalized, coalescing light streams of what is possible. What's possible now that perhaps wasn't before, maybe it was and we weren't aware. It's hard to say. Anything is hard to say at the moment. Any and all labels are suspect during this transition. Not because they're wrong or bad. I think we will find during this upcoming month and this upcoming year of 2024 that a lot of our labels, our boxes, our labels, our definitions, our concepts are shredding, because something else is more true than what we have made true for ourselves. So the transition of this month up through the equinox is about becoming more of what we are interdimensionally, multidimensionally, galactically, and in all the ways that are sacred to each of us. Now, we may have labeled those, given ourselves faith and flow and path in a certain way. That isn't suspect in itself. It is how we label that, how we define it, that is simply shifting. So for the last few days, I keep seeing 911 on the clock, the computer, the devices, a couple of times a day, of course. And that, while it is the emergency, the A&E number in the U.S., that's not necessarily what it portends. The numerological energies, not the actual numerology of 911, has to do with a significant shift in perception. One could say a crisis of perception. Well, it's a popular term, but it is a significant shift in perception. And all of our new experience is birthed from the infinite sea of perceiving, of perception. Once we live within that, which we all do, but once we are accurately or not consciously perceiving that everything comes from perception, everything comes from the infinite, and there are infinite fractals. Does a wave leave any of its droplets behind? Does it worry about that? Does chaos theory not take into account every single fractal of every size? These are things that the human mind has challenges with in perception. But from our hearts and from our divine perception, we really don't have a problem with it at all, do we? It has to do with the love, the source, the oneness, one could say, of everything, of the all that is sacredness, that is living. And so here, as we barrel into another cross quarter into the equinox on the 19th, in my part of the world, the fractalization has increased, intensified. This is an accelerated month. It's a month of great, explosive, eruptive bolts of light, lightning bolt kind of energy. And a lot of this has to do with alignments that move as they move with the planet Uranus this month. Also, it has to do just with where Gaia is, where we are in our fractals of expression. And it's a natural process of what is required, what is needed, what will serve going forward, and what needs to make way for the new. And that is happening. All that waymaking is happening. So there's much shedding, but there's also much emerging happening. It's quite exciting, actually. This is the electromagnetic current energy, the dragon energy. In the East, dragon is synonymous with ki, chi, life force, prana, mana, whatever label you want to give it, electromagnetic energy. And this is auspicious. It's abundant. It portends prosperity in many, many different ways. And so what if our crisis of perception, our significant alteration in how we perceive, had to do with prosperity, with abundance, with what we value, with how we are moving in flow, whether we are surrendered to it. I think to it implies too much separation, in my book anyway. It's more a being with that flow, being of that flow, recognizing ourselves as droplet, rivulet, current, wave within the tides, within the seas of change, yes, but of the infinite. So this month, March of 2024, is filled with these pivotal moments, culminating, one could say, at the equinox, but moving right through that and on into April, which is even more dynamic. So one could expect, if one wanted to project that way, it's fun, is to look at what's coming, what's possible, what new light is being shed on perhaps something new, or perhaps something that, oh, I never saw it that way before. How funny. And then the shedding process becomes so much easier. So have a wonderful month. Enjoy the eruptive, disruptive, perhaps, energies. And just be as that flow, that the currents of light always find themselves. Light is intelligence. It knows what to do. And that's what you're made of. So enjoy this month.